again, second time today actually. I went live for y'all earlier today. Hope y'all enjoyed that. If you saw that, if you didn't, need to go back and check it out. But I went live inside of a really cool store. Really cool store. I don't mind. Sometimes I keep my little spots secret only because I just be like, you know what? It just depends. It all depends. Like, you know, if I'm traveling, whatever, even with that, like there's certain things, I don't tell them everything. Like, I want people to become show enough subscribers, members, other perks that we got going on, and then y'all deserve to know, because then y'all done put in with us, we're gonna put in with you. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's all about respect. But I will, you know, occasionally, because I like the place and I want it to thrive and I want it to get business, so that it'll be there when I come back and I can check it out or whatever. And I've done business with this place, so I support that, you know, from that perspective. But it's called Full Circle, and it's in the metro area. I ain't gonna give you more than that. You gotta do, I mean, everything, man, you gotta do a little work. You know, if you really want it, if you look at it, you're like, man, this look cool, man, where's that at? I ain't telling you everything. I'll tell you the name of the store. There's only one. There's only one, okay? There's only one that I know of. They're not a chain, to my understanding. It's a family-ran business, husband-wife operation that exploded because it was like a little bit small. It was always pretty big, but now they got a double, triple the size of what it used to be store. Yeah, probably even 4 times the size of the old store. Well, that may be a little extra to say that. Double, at least double. And it's more modern and everything. But Full Circle is a place where you can go see all kind of cool retro toys, games, video games. They got a whole department for everything in there. They got departments. They got the video games, they got the toys broken up into the groups. Like if you want He-Man, Masters of the Universe stuff, that's in a section. You want G.I. Joe, that's in a section. You want Bratz and Care Bears and My Little Pony and Barbie, they got a section. I mean, like, it's that kind of store. It's amazing. And it's huge. It's really nice. Like nice high ceilings the way I like it. I love high ceilings. And it's just a really cool store. I did a walkthrough. I will say I was disappointed with the feed when I look back, only because the signal, and it wasn't my fault, but I hate when that happens because it makes my content look bad when I know what I was looking at during the live. It looked great and the sound was great, and well, that ain't got nothing to do with what it's gonna be when when you look back, right? So it is what it is, and I just hope y'all can still, I've watched worse even as a fan myself of other people's content, so hopefully y'all give me that little benefit of the doubt for the fact that you know how technology goes. I mean, it ain't perfect. That's for damn sure. It ain't nowhere near perfect. And you literally never know what you're gonna get. Like, man, please. I was doing it and thinking, like I said, that everything was clear, but when I look back, the picture would be clear in some places, but then it would get kind of soft focus. Like you could still tell what it was, but it wasn't crisp. And then it would get crisp again, and then it would get soft focus, and then get crisp and soft. But it was mostly that soft focus thing going on. And I wasn't adjusting nothing to the camera per se. I'll tap the screen and play with focus if I can, but really you can't. When you live, like I say, that don't even matter. When you doing that during a live, it don't matter. The only thing you can do in a live is you can zoom. I did that like one time in the whole live. But none of that should have affected the crispness of what y'all were watching. So if you saw that live, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen that live, check it out. Like I said, same day, different time of day, different situation. And I went in this favorite store and did a quick one for y'all that I want y'all to check out. That's what I'm saying. So moving along. I'm going to talk real quick about, because I'm always talking about put respect first on everything, yeah? Respect, then power, then money, in that order. That's the proper coding of everything that matters, the way it got to be. Put respect first. I was just at this store, right? This cracked me up, actually. It was so ridiculous, all you could do is just laugh. Like, man, do they know how special they are, right? So it's one of these huge wholesale stores. You know the ones. I don't want to. They doing it right. And like I'll say PayPal out loud because we get first of all, I use it. I use their products because I got Venmo, and Venmo is a really cool app and stuff like that. And that's owned by PayPal, right? But PayPal benefits nonprofits. Canva. I love Canva. It's my number one. It is my new Photoshop. I don't mind mentioning Photoshop because as long as I used it, they owe me money. Me and other designers, we built Photoshop. They ought to be paying for my college student loans, damn it. Seriously, right? Seriously. All my designers understand. I know you with me when I said that. You understand what I'm talking about. Because we used to have to buy the software on disk and stuff like that. You okay? And get burn copies of it for your friends. You know what I'm saying? We from that era, okay? Then they put everything where you had to buy it, oh my gosh, digitally and keep upgrading your subscription. And if you don't, you lose it. And well, okay, well, y'all go to hell. I don't need you. You know, and it just got too expensive. So, but I do like Canva because Canva supports nonprofits. You can use the best of Canva, no cost to nonprofits. I'm like, Canva is the bomb. So I shout them out. I don't mind shouting them. Like I say, those who support us in one way or another or have helped and didn't even do it directly, I don't know them, ain't no promotion, no nothing, whatever. Just stores and things that I like, right? So like I say, I don't mention a lot of stuff. But anyway, I was at one of these big wholesale stores. And what's funny about the energy in those stores to me is, and I don't shop at these places often. I only go there to get a couple of things. Like the expense of olive oil has gotten so ridiculous, you cannot buy it for any normal price, right? And if you're gonna get it for anything worth the stress, and I have to, and that's the only oil I really trust, health-wise, amongst a few others, like coconut and other expensive stuff. So I wasn't even there to get that, but I'm just mentioning that to say I will go to that store for that, right? Because you can get like 3 liters for $18. Whereas in any regular store, hell, 1 liter might be $18. Straight up, like seriously, like just that that's just that crazy right now, right? So anyway, but the energy of those stores, because people can buy so much stuff and all in one place, you know, it's like, and on the light side of it, before I tell this real life moment, it's like that joke that Bernie Mac, the legend, rest in forever peace, creative genius, okay? Bernie Mac, on the Bernie Mac show, had the episode where he went to one of these stores, right? And I forget what they called it on the store, but it was obvious that's the store that it was, right? And he's like, it's the only place you can get you can get a bunch of toilet tissue, paper towels, tires, all your food, and some clothes, you know, buy some shoes, like literally all this stuff he talking about, right? And so, and I think because of that, and because of the surplus energy, the surplus mind state, the abundance of it all, whether it's the best of food that you're picking or the worst of food, but you can get so much of it. Yeah, you know, you buy this frozen pizza with 5 zillion milligrams of sodium and you know it's gonna kill you, but look how money I can get and how big it is for this price. And so it's this mentality that just is so, in one way, not the only way. You know, I always say for the cultures, but it's in this one way, very American, you know. For those Americans who think America is all about surplus, and when they start yelling about freedom and all that mess, you know, there's such a damn joke when you see how they're doing people's lives forever, and they still playing games, and you got folk who they're just like, if you don't want to bow down to the monsters, then we either want to kick you out or blaspheme you for being here and not loving everything about this backwards ass system, right? But this kind of place goes so good with that, right? That energy, because it's so abundant and it's so big and everything's big, right? So I'm in a parking lot and I'm walking back to my car and I'm saying, wait a minute. Did this dude literally just pull up right in front of, it was one of these gigantic, like literally what just passed me, one of them just passed me. One of them damn, the F-250, like that. I mean, I don't know if it was that or a Ram or what, but the really giant diesel, you know, never these people, if they tell these fools that their big ass truck got to do electric, they'll just be, we ain't gotta worry about them. They'll be jumping off cliffs. Their whole life is like, if they could literally drink gasoline, they would, you know what I mean? Like this kind of psycho, you know? So I see this fool done pulled right in front, like literally, I'm trying to give you a visual, right? So if my hand is my car, right? This much of my car is blocked by his vehicle. That's how big, and he done, and instead of just parking in a space, okay, he is pulled, I know what it is, he checking his damn text or some bullshit that anybody could do parking, but he just so busy and important, he gonna pull, and mind you, I parked at the back of the lot, so I figured he figured I'm out the way, and whoever's back here ain't coming out for a while. I don't know why you think that. If there's a car, person could be coming back any damn time. That's just the way it is in real life. Can't assume nothing, right? But he's come literally to where I can't, where he's done part, I can't get out. So I made on purpose, I kind of rolled over as I'm wheeling up with my cart to make, hopefully to get noticed. I ain't trying to say nothing to nobody now. I just want to be noticed so that when I come within view, make my beeline back to my vehicle, you know, I'm letting you know, hey man, I'm about to come up out of here. You're going to have to get that big ass thing up out my way. I can't be, you're not about to block me in, right? And then, you know, the situation too, like I'm reading who's in the car, and I'm like, okay, makes it even more ridiculous to me, but it was like this, it was a big black dude, but that don't mean nothing. It ain't about ethnicity. See, stupid mentality of an ethnicity. It doesn't. Bravado, I'm all that, it's all about me. That energy, man, it is so, it come in every shape, form, color, language, whatever, religion, spirituality, but if you just own that frequency, if that's your, you know, as Redman said on this classic joint on his new album, they on their bullshit. He on his bullshit. It's that bull. If they own that, they own that. That's just who they be. That's them, right? And I was like, this cat here. But he did notice, and he knew it was gonna be weird. So he went, you know, he went on and scooted on up out the way. But what made it so stupid was, it's not like he was trying to figure out a place to park and there was nowhere else to park. Half of the, not even half, probably this, like I say, everything at these places is huge, right? You know, everything. So maybe 25% of this section of this gigantic lot, because there's a whole nother part that one could have been full, but this is like the main front of the store type, you know what I mean? And it's mostly full, but not full. There's so many spaces. Even where I was, there was nobody on the side of me, nobody on the back of, nowhere, nobody was near me, right? Why would you do that? Like, it's just, it says a lot about a person when they, the way they drive their car, the way they dress, the way they enter a room, the way they come on a scene, like, you know, the person who's not just physically big, because sometimes they small, but they got the same energy, and they got to be the loudest. They don't even, sometimes you think to yourself, man, do you know how loud you are? Like, that's not good. Like, and then they tend to think that they know so much and can handle so much and do whatever they want to do, wherever they want to do it, that there's no circumstances. That's how these kind of people are. So this is just a quick lesson, basically, and just don't be that type of person. Don't be that type of person. Because it's so counterproductive to living a healthy and long life. It's so counterproductive. And while I'm on the topic of counterproductivity, I gotta mention that I got a video that's coming up, and I'm gonna elaborate on it a little bit here for y'all, but I'm gonna put it into a long video. It will be an edited video coming out real soon, probably by this evening when I get time to edit it, because I've already done my voiceover for it. I did my voice work and I did my clips. And what I'm talking about is the new Jimi Hendrix. Well, no, I'm talking about, it's not new. Let me not say that. It was new to me. Because I know the movie's old. Oh my gosh. I was about to say the new, it's not new. Jimi Hendrix, I think what's the subtitle? Oh gosh. All is with me or something. All are with me. Honestly, here's all that you need to know that you'll remember what I'm talking about. It's the Andre 3000 portrayal of Jimi Hendrix. Okay? If you saw that movie way back when it came out, you already know what I'm talking about. If you never saw that Andre 3000 portrayal of Jimi Hendrix, I gotta say this. And like I say, the video, I'm gonna make an edited video so you can see. I'm gonna say pretty much what I said in my video right now. But I wanna add to it that you can see the references in the video. I want you to see the references because it's so important to see the references. Because the whole reason I made the video is because people need the references. People need to understand that there's a lot of mistruth going on all kind of levels. And it ain't new. It's just, we're entering a time of this becoming, it's almost a genre of its own to just create false realities and mess up the truth at all costs and just, I don't even know what the hell. I mean, seriously, y'all, I think it's just compounding interest for me. And I'm gonna get back to talking about the movie, but I'm gonna say another one that got me on that tip. I've been seeing a lot of this more and more lately. I mean, a lot. But it's like I forget the name they use typically for the catchphrase for people who are on that tip. But basically, Black Americans who feel like they are not in any way of African descent. There's a whole lot of folk who are on that tip now. I damn sure ain't one of them, okay? I am freaking proud as hell forever and a day that I have African ancestry. And I know some of my primary African ancestry, okay? I also know that I have European ancestry. I also know that I have indigenous of the peoples who were here before it got named America history. Like I said, indigenous, okay? I know I got that in me too. But what irks me to no end is seeing these folks from this younger generation especially, and they're not the first to say it, but they are the first to take it to the levels they're taking it to with this AI and how they're using it, misusing it. Because like I always say, AI can be such a beautiful thing if used properly, if always checked. But there ain't no way to check it. It's a loose cannon. And that's what you see happening is people just, yeah, I can put this with that. And that'll make people who don't know real history assume that that must mean this, and this. And that that's true. And that people really did dress like this, act like that, and look like that in that part of the world at that time. And that didn't even exist. Or the phenotype of people looking that way in that particular region didn't even exist. Or the garb and traditional clothing or beadery or whatever the case may be of adornment looks a certain way that it did not even exist. Like, man, when I tell y'all the stuff I'm seeing out here on social media, it was a video I saw the other day. And of course, they always, when they use the AI, they gotta have a voiceover. You always gotta have a voice, which you don't even know, because they got so many different ways of doing that now. You don't even know if the person who made the video, okay, is of the assumed creative ethnic group. You assuming because of the content, oh yeah, this must be some black folk who fired up and they militant about whatever this cause is they trying to put. You don't know, man. They done told, it's already news that you got folk in other countries who have agendas who are trying to push false truths about different groups of people and black folk being at the top of their list. So they'll put out all kind of false stuff that ain't even real and make it seem so, you know, they know how to embellish it a way that's gonna make people say, oh, that looks cool, what is that? And then some people, man, they don't research nothing, and then when they do, they research what they want within their own comfort zones. As soon as the research starts tingling that part of their brain that says, wait a minute, not familiar, haven't heard this before, this sounds, looks, smells, tastes, everything different, Oh no, must not be right. Why not? Because it's the truth. You know, because you found the real thing, and now it's got your stuff going. This is what people are doing out here, right? Hold on, is this it or is it? I'm looking for this address at the same time, y'all. Damn, I hate to put y'all on hold when I'm on a roll, but I gotta come back. All right, we back, y'all. We back. So I'm going to continue what I was saying. So basically, I was telling y'all about this video I came across. And I'm going to get back to the Jimi Hendrix movie, too. I know I'm on a tangent spill, but it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's going to all connect into just dealing with the issue of, as I'm always preaching about, putting respect first, because it's so lacking, because people don't even know what respect is, first of all. So how you going to have it if you don't even know what the hell that really is, you know? But basically, this video that you would assume was made maybe by somebody who's on the militant tip of the new wave black movement to try to say that all of everybody that is considering themselves African Americans, they want to just delete the word African out of the equation, which I ain't never been whatever about African American. That was created like in a time I never had a problem with if you don't want to call yourself that, because I've always been like, yo, I call myself an African diasporan. I go there with it, because yeah, I am American in my own heart for what I know that means to me, but I don't walk around talking about I'm American, because I know what that really means to those who truly feel they are in charge of this land and all of that other stuff. Like I said, feel they are. I didn't say they actually are. I said feel they are. So, you know, that's that whole nonsense, right? But this video showed this AI imagery of all these super robust, bodybuilding looking, I mean, like nobody in the video was normal size muscularity. Everybody was cut as, I don't know what. Like, it was like if all the biggest, most chiseled dudes on the NFL teams that are black made a video, but again, AI looking images. It's all AI, not even looking. These are all AI generated animation. It was an animation too. And they're talking with that weird AI look that when their voice, their mouth be moving weird because it can't catch up to the voice over. Oh gosh, yeah. And whoever it is that did it got them saying, we were never no slaves. And I was like, okay, continue. And he was like, we were prisoners of war. I said, true, what else? Mm-hmm. Then they're like, and we were never from no Africa, so we from right here. I said, okay, here we freaking go. But when they say right here, this is what makes it so hilarious, y'all. They've got all these weird ass, again, it's all AI generated. So the AI is going off of your prompts. What did you tell it? Because I know how weird it can get when you're using different, I mean, from ChatGPT to Meta to, what's the one, Genius or what? Man, it doesn't matter. They all be weird as hell if you put in a prompt they don't understand, and if it tries to generate something you think you want it to see, but they give you something so opposite, and if you don't tell it to completely swipe clean that and start over, or keep this but don't keep that, and sometimes it makes it worse when you say keep this but don't keep that. It's like it always makes me laugh when I do any type of test of an AI thing for that, generating images to see what it'll do. If I say don't give me any shades on these two people in this picture, I promise you, because if one of them was wearing shades when it gave me that result, and then the other one wasn't, it's gonna come back with they gonna be wearing shades, and they might add 5 more people wearing shades. I just wrote, do not have anyone wearing sunshades, and it will have everybody wearing sunshades, right? Okay. Oh my gosh. And sometimes I be thinking that's what it needs. Like I said, maybe because I said shades. It don't understand that shades are these. So I gotta say sunglasses. Or I gotta say sunshades. So I done tried all that. It didn't matter. It just made it worse. It got worse and worse. So I just started being like, you know what, man, this thing is gonna be weird. the AI processing is going to be weird. So can you imagine somebody, whoever this was that made this video, what they would have went through to create what I'm telling y'all this looked like? They had this whole scene behind these guys where it looked like different sometimes ancient, sometimes not so ancient looking societies, but cityscapes. And everything was always like European, but Asian looking, or a mix of both. For example, one thing they had behind them at one point looked like the freaking Taj Mahal in India. I said, oh my gosh. And it literally had, I'm forgetting my word for these, but I know it's an architectural, it's a term in architecture. You know, there's motifs that different ethnic groups throughout time created. They are literally specific things that are like, yeah, you see that is what that's from, right? Like okay, so this damn thing had the Islamic style bulbous tops that come to the little tips on like how it is on the Taj Mahal. It had a place look like the Taj Mahal in the video, but the dude is trying to present this as an image of what used to be America looked like, and said, and you're trying to say with your AI generated fantasy that there were castles and shit that looked like that here, and that only these super muscular, hella angry about everything they got to say. I was laughing so hard, but crying at the same time in my heart watching this bullshit ass video. Cause I said to myself, why these black dudes with like, and then they had like, all of them had locks. Everybody had locks. And they have gotten advanced enough with the AI where they can literally make locks that look like afro hair when it locks with no matter the texture, you know. It could be any combination of curls, but they can give you some stuff that'll look like, depending on the AI, it'll look like it, right? So everybody had that look, except for then there was one dude amongst the group that he was like everybody was chocolate brown, right? But then there was this one dude, he was like the pure ebony, like the darkest melanin anybody could be, but his features were more aquiline, okay? Like yours truly kind of features, I'm just saying, give you an example, if you can imagine, but jet black. He was the darkest of them all, right? And he said something in the video, and something weird, I don't know what the hell he said, because again, it's AI voiceover, and he said his name, I am such and such, a blah, 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 blah. And they all was like kind of nodding him like, yeah, brother. And I was, what the, huh? And then they had an image of, I've seen one where they had an image like that, but they had like all these people in a circle bowing down to him, to the one black guy, but around them were like all these, you know, Asiatic style phenotype peoples of what most people think of when they think of quote unquote indigenous Americans, right? I said, man, this is embarrassing, man, for what's going on already. Y'all gonna be worse than these motherfucking white supremacists. Like, this is the same thing they did. You don't believe it? If you're in Philly, or if you ever get to Philly, and if you're like me, don't even spend your money. Just walk in the door and say, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to peek in here and get a quick look. But the museum of Masonry. If I'm stepping on your toes, calm down. Because I know Masons are everywhere, and they just fall out the sky when you mention their name. And they all act like they got, you know, mafia ties and shit just because they know all the knowledge. And well, if you know all the damn knowledge, you shouldn't be acting like you're a damn thug just going to be putting hits on folk for mentioning the damn name of your organization. How about just keep the truth aware about everything? How about the reality that the Masons, as they are known, even though they are now black, they've been for generations, black Masons and all that, they stole everything of the so-called knowledge. It's literally, what they literally are is, after all the colonization, they started the organization and be like, all right, we done accumulated all this stuff that we don't even understand, but we're gonna try and pretend we understand all of it. And we're going to create our own order of how the world going to work under our childish, backwards, twisted, slave-endorsed, always about greed society. And yeah, that ought to work, right? Yeah, sure, hell yeah. And to a certain extent, obviously it still works to a certain extent, only because, like I say, if you put money first, oh, that mess will never die. It'll just take a new form. Now, listen to what I just said. It'll just take a new form. What you think Get Out was about? Anyway. Anyway. It'll just take new forms. Did you see, because I didn't think it was that deep till I sat through it. Because at first I started watching it, I couldn't finish They Clone Tyrone. One of my boys said, man, I'm telling you, it's so good, you got to watch it. I said, man, what is, and he's somebody I trust. So when this particular friend who's deep, like I get deep, I said, well, damn, he wouldn't have said that if it was completely shallow like it seemed when I first started watching. Because it was all this just pimp trick gangster click, typical, just shit going on. I was like, I don't want to see that for 2 hours. But I had already made it past the worst of that and was entering where it actually gets good and deep. But I wasn't giving it a chance. So I had to go back and finish it. And then I was like, whoa, okay, I see now, right? But it doesn't even matter, because even though all these movies are trying to tell you the same thing about the psychology, because it's more psychology than literal. That's the other part. People take things too damn literal. I'm not saying that weird ass cloning and stuff like that ain't going on. I'm not saying that something like what happened in Get Out couldn't in some way happen. That's not even the damn point. The point is about the mental. The point is about the symbolic energy of the mindset that says put money ahead of everything, create a system where everything is based on our control of a certain level of everything, and making sure that only people we deem appropriate for that ever have access to the resources, and everybody else will forever in some form or another be serving us. That's that mentality. That's what the supremacy, not even just white supremacy, any form of supremacy is about. So I'm saying, when I see this kind of craziness, all I see is half-cocked notions of truth being visualized, which is what's so dangerous. Because what I was about to say and didn't finish is that in Philly, like I say, if you go to that museum and if you just peek in the door like I did, because I say, hey, I just wanted to see what this is about. And I was going to actually walk through it. It's been years ago, many years ago, many years ago. And I know ain't much changed, because they don't change places like that. They'll close them or lock them off and make them private, but they don't close things like that. But it's right on Broad Street, and it's in the center of it all. It's a major tourist district right there in Broad Street. As you approach, it's right down from, you can stand outside and see the big tower and everything, the main Philly Bell and all that stuff. And I'm saying, I went in there and I was like, how much is it to go through? And while I'm asking the question, I'm looking around at all these paintings on the wall, and there's all these gigantic oil paintings of scenes that are supposed to depict various stories throughout antiquity. And everybody in every pose and every image, no matter what group or area or culture it was supposed to be depicting, looked in one way or another to be related in some weird, like, it was like, I was like, are you serious right now? Like, everybody in every painting, like, there was one I'll never forget, and it was supposed to be like a scene somewhere in first Americas with first encounters of Native Americans and the first Europeans coming, and they were like, you know, and everybody's looking all 16 Chapelish, you know, how they always lounging and gazing at each other, all, you know, all of that old bullshit is in every painting. But they had the audacity to make, okay, everybody else is like pale, regular complexion of what we would expect from European white folk from Nordic areas, okay, from cold weather areas where you don't get a lot of sun and where your skin is naturally pale. And then all these other people who are from here where we know they had browner, reddish, etc. skin, right? No, they got them with the complexion, so to speak, if you will, kind of, not really. But their features look no different from the Europeans. They just had on the damn different elements of what we associate with different headdress and everything of certain tribal groups, because there's so many. You notice I'm being very careful about how I'm saying that, because it would only make it worse if I knew the name of the painting, because I know it would say, when such and such met blah, blah, blah of the blah, 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 blah tribe. And it'd be like, you motherfucker. Because you know it would be ass backwards. You know they probably be wearing some shit that such and such tribe never wore. You know they be having on some damn feathers that's not even the birds that they held sacred as much as others. Like, what the fuck is that shit, right? But that's no better or no worse than goofy ass, low self-esteem, smoke too much of something, and need to get off all the other hallucinogenic drugs these fools are on. Because when they sit down and do these damn prompts on these computers, the stuff they come up with and accept and put out into the world, holy shit. I see this video, like I say, everybody's looking like, you look. I feel like I'm literally looking at Ghanaian, Sudanese, Senegal, Nigerian, Congolese black men in the most buffed up and most muscular of any form, AI generated, with locks. One very awkward looking, like I told you, darkest of them all was this one guy. He's taller than everybody else looking guy they threw in or whatever. But all of them had this, like, they had this carnival in the Caribbean, universal almost, not completely, because I'm not even gonna go there. I know enough about carnival in various places to know it doesn't look the same everywhere. They don't use the same materials everywhere. But they do tend to love the same types of feathers. They do tend to love the same types of beadery, from all the Virgin Islands to Jamaica to when I went to Carnival here in Atlanta, and when I've seen video, and when I've talked to my friends directly from, and when they tell me about what it was growing up and how it still is, a lot of it is commonality, right? But there are differentiations of that's just us, that's our stuff only, or that's one thing. When the so-and-so groups come through, they do this, and when the blah 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 groups come through, you're gonna see them wearing it, right? So all the guys in this AI video, right, they got on these like gold foil looking, oh man, I wish I knew all my fashion terms to give y'all what I know I'm talking about. But it's basically the style of piece where it just covers your collarbone area and around to the top of your back too. And they've got damn beads inset into it, stones, like just like in the Infinity Gauntlet for freaking Thanos, how the stones sit inside of the hand, is set in like that. They look like that. They're going around like that, right? And it's all gold. And then there's these bracelet gauntlets. There's gauntlets on their arms. There's maybe some arm bracelets on their biceps. Other than that, maybe a bead or two here and there. And some of them have on these matching gold crowns with amulets and stuff. And some of them even have some randomly placed feathers. Again, AI is throwing stuff wherever it can. And and as they talk, they morph into giant griffin-like creatures with wings, where the body of the man is still there, but the red, like up to his torso, but then he becomes this giant brown eagle, think as big as the war eagles in Lord of the Rings, you know, them kind of huge ones. And they flying off as they talk and say their last line, and I mean it, woof, and then they flying up. And I'm like, the fuck is this? Now, on a spectacle level, oh man, wow. But because I know you're trying to say this is real history, I got a problem with that. I got a big problem with that, people. And it's out of control more and more and more. I see it all the time. I'm seeing it more frequently. I used to see maybe one video that spectacle level per year. And that's fetching back about 5 years of not seeing that regularly, right? As a matter of fact, they wasn't even doing these videos like that maybe 5 years ago, because they were just talking. You had all the people who think this way, They didn't have this tech yet, so they had to either do a voiceover and do some images or have the balls to get up there and here I am and say what they got to say and everybody in the world know that they stupid, right? But no, these folk are literally, they're hiding behind the veil of, as hey, what did the master teach you if you want to say you would never, but then you doing the same shit that motherfucker did? You say you were never, and I agree. You weren't never. We were never. Our ancestors were never slaves. They are prisoners of wars. He said prisoners of war. Prisoners of wars. But then you really got to get deep there. Of what wars? And if your war starts with, well, there was some white folk on this side and there was us over here looking like the front line of an NFL team, but we was all here in America. Like, this is the garbage that this AI-generated mess was pushing, right? I'm saying, good gracious alive, man. See, this is why can't nobody ever heal, because you can't first admit that, yes, prior to European coming in and creating what became colonization, everywhere that happened, but specifically in the continent of Africa, they already had their own conflicts amongst each other as Africans. People were not one big family. The whole continent of Africa was not having one big fucking backyard barbecue 24/7, 365, and we just happened to have really cool weapons, and happened to have really cool shields, and just happened to have all this shit that we done made to know how to kill something if we need to, because we only use that for hunting. Man, no. Just like in this modern time, how people make the joke, you don't need an AR-15 to hunt a deer. I grew up hunting deer, and I know what they mean, because that's a damn truth. That's the fucking truth. You don't need, I've shot an AR-15. You don't need nothing that powerful to hunt. Matter of fact, you probably gonna mess up so much of the meat if you really about that life and you care about harvesting, because that's the word you use when you respect the animal and you are there to get a meal, all right? You want to harvest, you're not trying to blow a hole in nothing so messed up and mangled that, you know, that was meat I could have ate. You want an in and out situation or in and done and find, that's it. That's it. Real quick, down, pow. And hopefully if it has to run for a minute, you got a blood trail, you find the animal. Anyway, some of y'all can't handle the conversation about real life acquisition of harvest, so I'm not even gonna go there, because there's idiots that'll be like, he started talking about hunting Bambi. Oh Lord have mercy. I can't with y'all. Look, man. Oh man. Can't with y'all. Can't with y'all. So my point of even why I brought that up, because I know that was a big tangent, is if you study weaponry and ancient warfare and cultural conflicts and just human history, period. Not just always about conflict, but because of that part, just because that's why I brought that up, to make a point. Then you know the truth that people have always had conflicts, and that war always, well, here's the real truth about that. War did not always exist. This is a big, hard one to swallow for most motherfuckers who are obsessed with justifying their reason for keeping a goddamn war going or supporting war. Wars did not always exist. There weren't enough fucking people on the planet to have a goddamn war all the time. And when there were villages that were separate of each other, they still didn't go to war all the fucking time. There were people who did not fight each other. There literally were people who got along, exchanged goods with each other, and if anything that could be used as a weapon was only mostly used for harvest. Like, this sickle is just to clean the crops or clean my fish. This blade is just for me to kill this and kill that, or harvest this, prepare that to make this ready for a meal. That's it. And if you don't believe me, you could do a quick ass AI. Since everything is so AI and y'all trust AI, you could do an AI search and say, what were the first weapons created from? The very, very first. I mean, the absolute first. And first it's going to tell you the materials. But then say, no. Were they used for something else before they were used in actual human conflicts? And they're going to more than likely say that they were used as tools of harvest for either hunting or agriculture. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's just like, if you know that about human history, I always say, if anything ever confuses you in history, and this is for my kids out there, all my young folk who are followers of this channel, this is especially for y'all, because y'all need it better than anybody else. I don't worry about dumb adults, because they're going to stay dumb until they die. Once they believe something, oh, that's not true, and it don't matter. Because they ain't read nothing since the first time they heard what they believed is still wrong, right? But for kids who are still trying to figure it out, I want you to understand something. Whatever is hard to understand about history, all you got to do is look at human nature now. Because one thing is always a fact. Human nature don't change. It just ages. So if it was ever important that people had something to eat, something to wear, something to live for, somewhere to live, etc. Like they always say, food, clothing, shelter, all right? All those basic necessities. And then after that, I say there is creativity, and then you get into, after that, the scientists and science and all the other things. Because you've got to first have an imagination. You first got to have an ambition for why you even want to exist, right? But if you know enough about human nature, you'll always see that things in ingenuity came about from genuine people who had nothing but just a great idea. And it was usually born out of not trying to create destruction. It was about creating prosperity or the possibility of prosperity. But then when those who are obsessed with war get a hold of it, they turn it into a weapon. It's how the atomic bomb was created. It was not from science. When Einstein came up with the theories that led to the understanding of how to make that damn bomb, he wasn't doing that like, oh, let me make a bomb out of this. He just wanted to understand the concept. But the psychos who are always, oh, that could be used for war. Yeah. And so you got to be careful about that mentality, because it gets pushed every generation, mine included, to where they want us to believe that life doesn't exist without war. No, bitch. Yes, it does. You punk mother. Yes, it does. Life can only exist without war. If you're killing everything, we won't exist. So anyway. So I'm just saying, like, when I see these kind of images, and like I say, they got these carnival celebration style uniforms on, proposing themselves in AI to be warriors of an ancient society that never fucking existed anywhere in the world, let alone here, okay? And they want to present this as the true identity. They want to say that nobody was ever brought from other places here in captivity. I'm cool with you if you ain't healthy with the word slave. I don't like it either. I'm cool with understanding that I never was one, so I'm not going to claim the word. I get that. I understand that. That's a mental thing. But if you're going to deny that the activity took place, is an insult to everybody who endured it and overcame it mentally. That's how I see that. So you owe them forever and a day the respect of saying, yeah, what happened, happened. And I'm going to be a better result because of what should have been going on, that I got to repair all of what been effed up as best I can in one lifetime. And don't put all of the weight on yourself and think you're going to do it either, because that's impossible on another level. But at least have that in your heart. And when you move with a certain kind of grace that most people just don't understand unless they done got to this type of enlightenment. But, you know, it ain't for everybody, man. I don't always say that every time on there. It ain't for everybody. I know there's people whenever I see stuff like I said I saw, I know there's enough people pushing the false histories that they're just fine with that. They're just fine with another lie. They're just fine with making lie our new reality. We'll all tell each other lies and believe mistruths and call ourselves a society somehow. Like, I don't know why in the world you think if lies start butting up against lies, you talking about a war, man, you're gonna have a fight that it's like starting a fire that has, like, in California, why they have the hardest time stopping them brush fires, because the eucalyptus trees that they brought from Australia that are not indigenous to California, look it up. Every single eucalyptus tree in California is from Australia, not here. They brought them here just to add to the garden, the man-made garden of California, okay? And I know what I'm talking about, from LA all the way up to at least Morro Bay, where I went and saw the biggest ones I ever seen in my life. That particular species of, I forget what they are, but they have the paper bark siding that, man, the oil in them trees, and they, you know, like any other eucalyptus, yes, a great smell and all that, and all the healing factors and all that. Beautiful, beautiful tree. The tree ain't evil, but humans' activities, man, you're your own problem, and be crying, talking about why. What do you mean why? You started this problem, how many generations ago, with planting something that was never supposed to be here? And two, when the fires start, you know what they say is the #1 reason why they can't put them out, or have the hardest time putting them out? It's because water don't do it. The oil in them trees burns like lighter fluid, and it burns constant. It does not want to go out. And I speak from experience, knowing it's true, because when we started a campfire as a family on a trip, when I took to Morro Bay in Middle California, and we started a fire that night that was raging. That fire was so hot. Perfect for the evening we had. We didn't get cool at night in Middle California, but I promise you, we put water on it. We turned it over, you know, with the ashes, and it was still some little orange and all that, like how it looked when you flip over the dust in a grill and you've been doing some charcoal. It looked like that when we went to bed. But when we woke up in the morning, y'all, we thought it gets cooler. There's more dampness in the air at night, because there'd be dew on the trees and stuff in the morning. I'm like, that fire will be gone. When I tell you I woke up, the fire was gone. But the smoke, the cinder, the little, you blow, and if you blew on it, it want to spark again. That's what that is. That's what that's like when you put lies on top of lies. You creating, I mean, it's already been one lie that's steady burning, but now you about to get a different version where everybody's got their bullshit. You're going to have, I've seen the Latino version of it. No offense to my Latinos who know better. I ain't talking about you. But I'm talking about the Latinos who, they don't want to be African in any kind of way. You know? The kind that voted in this nonsense that's going in office right now. The kind that think they're white. Like, I mean, you really think you're a white Anglo-Saxon person? You think you that? Go to that barbecue and see what words come out of folk mouths at you. The levels of disrespect. Man. Ooh-wee. You know, for some folk who, I ain't talking about all white Anglo-Saxon people, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I'm being specific about the coding of how people are categorizing themselves on wanting to be superior versus inferior. I got some white Anglo-Saxon people that are my coolest friends, because they know they just part of the human family. They ain't trying to be better than nobody, and they can accept that they came out of, like everybody came out of, one way or another, a family tree that roots back to first original peoples in Africa. So I am not going to stop saying it, because I realize it's getting weird to the point where, like, when you say these things, because of these lies, people look at you like, there used to be a time when you would say it, and whether they liked it or not, they had to accept it was true. Or they don't have nothing to debate it because they can't come up with no numbers that deflect it. But now you've got people who have so-called authority in society casting away the truth and replacing it with their lies. Well, all it takes for most dumbass people who follow everything for their entire life is give me a leader who said that's what we're supposed to do, and they'll do it. So that's what I'm saying about the way things are packaged. Because when it comes with a presidential signature of it's law now and all that kind of nonsense, or if it comes with a video that looks convincing, man, this is really good graphics. Wow, this is entertaining. This is a spectacle. Well, yeah, that's gonna make you damn near believe anything. You might fall for the okie doke just because of how it looks. And that's dangerous, people. That's extremely dangerous. As an artist who understands the power I wield and what I can draw and paint and create, what I can act, and how I can get you to believe a character that I'm playing, I know what we who are artists can do, and I know what AI can do interpreting what we can do to hit all the right notes in your mind to make you believe it the same way as if it were made by human beings. That's what we up against. And those who are misusing it, like I say, AI could be a beautiful thing if not misused, but because so many are misusing it, man, I don't know where the hell we going. I don't know where we going, y'all. Not like that. And I know I said I was gonna get back to this. I'm gonna wrap it up on this. I want y'all to see this video when I finish editing it. But I'm talking about that talking about that new, I keep saying new, it's not new, that older Andre 3000 depiction of Jimi Hendrix. And I was gonna say, you know, it's sad because Dre did a great job. That's the first thing I want to say, man. I'm proud of my ATL brother. We the same age, we the same, or from the exact same. You know, he may have had his birthday before mine, but we still from the same year and everything. So, you know, he's a legend, man, absolute legend, and always somebody I've always had a lot of respect for what him and the whole group, him and Big Boy and the whole Dungeon family did and what they did for Atlanta. And I'm gonna always be a fan. I'm gonna always be an ATLian for real. But I cannot, for that role, back up. Even the saddest thing is he did such a great job of playing out so many possibly true, believably the energy of Jimmy in some scenes, and then in other scenes, the hell is this? Like, and that's where it fell off. Particularly with the portrayal of his relationship with his father and the relationship he had with the women in his life, particularly with that, one of his closest girlfriends, in an interracial relationship he was in, a white girl that he met when he was in London, because there were two main ones in the movie, but one that was falling in love with him and he acted like he wasn't really feeling her, so he let her slide to the side and she was brokenhearted and pissed off at him. And then the one he ended up with, who in real life I know is real, and the other one I still gotta look up and see if she was ever real, because they were making up people in the movie, because the real one said in her late 70s in an interview, reflecting on everything, that when she was, so first of all, she's totally disgusted by the movie and got every right to be, because he was depicted as this monster at certain times in the movie that was not true. They had him bash her upside the head in a scene with a phone because she was supposedly cheating on him or doing whatever, and I was like, the fuck is this? Like, I knew when I saw it, this can't be, what the hell is this? I've never heard any or heard nothing. It's not like, there's so many people that are constantly trying to destroy the legacy of great black artists or great black people of anything. So I wouldn't think it would take till year 2020 something, that, because I think the movie came out somewhere around there, or maybe 2018 at the latest, somewhere in there, I can't remember, to wait to say something that ugly about somebody like this. Jimmy been a legend so long and mostly revered by whites who love this type of rock that he was playing, that they would want to tear that down and shoot him down quick, because they don't ever want nobody standing too close to the throne they done put Elvis on. You know, Elvis is supposed to be the god of rock to them, and then everybody else is like somewhere below that on the totem going up, you know. But no, like, why would they want to do that now? But the saddest part, y'all, black director, writer, producer, oh my gosh. Same guy who did 12 Years a Slave. Yeah. So I just said, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It gave me that bad feeling immediately, like when I saw that scene. And up until then, it wasn't the greatest movie anyway. It was just like, I'm making it through this thing. I'm sitting through it because I want to know what it was. What was everybody talking about when it was coming out? Why were so many people mad about this movie and saying it was so whack? Or it could have been this many ways better. I get it. I get it now. But I still say the saddest part to me is Dre did a hell of a performance to me. And after costume, wardrobe, hair, and everybody got through with him, to me, he looked enough convincingly in mannerisms to Jimmy. He doesn't look like, they don't have the exact same facial structure by no means, but he on stage in costume gave enough of the energy with his build to be believable, in my opinion. And then off stage, not playing the guitar, not going through the motions, he had a certain energy that I think was real enough to believe him. You know, I've seen interviews with Jimmy sitting in a place, sipping on a cocktail and smoking a cigarette and talking. And he looked like that when Dre would do it. Or he would, you know, when he was talking to his ladies or grinning and he had a big smile, like Dre got a big smile, he looked like that. You know, he had the energy right. I don't think he did a bad job. When they even when he had to do, and I say had to do because I know how the biz is, and I say this in my video that y'all gonna see. When he had to do the abusive scene, he made it convincing, but I'm gonna tell you something about that. I bet you money, because anybody who might be offended to the point they think, man, how can he even do that knowing it's not true? He probably didn't know they were gonna make him do it till he got into the role, because one thing I know about being in the biz, man, they will drop some stuff on you the day of. You'll be on set and they'll send you a script for some new stuff. I've had this happen with me on Independence. I've been the person having to deliver the new script as a PA, okay? I know how they change stuff. And it'd be immediate, and ain't nobody about to say shit when your whole house note, kids, private school, car note, all them damn expensive ass bills and credit cards and shit, when all that is pending on you finishing that TV show season or film, let me tell you, I'm not saying I would just do whatever, but I understand why the person of this level could have maybe, I ain't saying that's what happened, could have maybe been stuck in a role and said, damn, man, I done signed on to this. This is bull, but I got to damn do this. Damn. Oh my gosh, man, they're going to be talking about me for years about this. And you just did it. You just did. Let me just get it out the way, put it behind me, act like it didn't happen. And if you notice, you know, since he came back, and he don't come back a lot, but when he came back big with the piano, well, piano's next project, but the flute project, Dre don't be out there. He don't want to be talking and doing a lot of interviews and stuff. And when he does them, no one has brought up his film career. It's almost like I feel like he done told him, don't talk about that damn movie, all right? I don't want to talk about this shit. Like, no, we ain't talking about that Jimmy thing. I'm just trying to just let that, and it's a smart move if that's what he's doing, because you almost have to do that sometimes when something was that off. And it's sad because, like I say, he did good work, but for all the wrong reasons. The project itself was all the wrong reasons because it was built on too many lies. The truth is, from what I could research, Jimmy and his father had a good relationship. I didn't get the feeling from listening to his dad's interviews. I saw some interviews. I didn't get the feeling that it was like the most, it's hard to, first of all, you're on the outside looking in no matter what you see with anybody's life. But I got the feeling this was a man who knew his son, who had to learn his son later, because he said that when him and he was away from home when Jimmy was born, he said in one interview. Then in another one, he said that by the time he was around him enough to get to know him, I think it was in his teenage years, he had been sent to live with his father. And so they had to hop. His father wasn't rich. He was struggling, blue collar gig worker, doing his thing, trying to survive. And they would go in and out of different places for living spaces. So they never had a solid home, so to speak, for a while in Seattle, where he grew up. Eventually, Jimmy went into, well, before that, he mentioned that on one of his odd jobs, he found a broken ukulele, meaning when I say broken, like it still worked, but it was missing some strings. And Jimmy replaced some strings, and he said he got really good on it, but there's only but so far you can go with a ukulele. And so he wanted a guitar, and he said, I bought him a acoustic guitar for $5, he said. I said, damn. And that was $5 in the, what, probably was the 50s or 60s. So that was probably the 50s, because he got hot as a young star in the 60s, mid to late 60s, according to what I've read and seen. So anyway, I'm just saying. And then he went from that, that's when he really got into the guitar and learned blues, and he always loved blues, he said. And then he said he went to the Army, and after some military, all that stuff, he got hurt, and so he got discharged because of an injury. And that's when he focused on music, especially. And it was from that it led him all the way to London and all the fame he got worldwide as the legend forever, Jimi Hendrix, right? But this is the father himself talking about him in the interview. If you ever seen his father talk about his son in interviews, look that up real quick. It ain't gonna be hard to find. And I was just like, so you trying to tell me that man that I just watched in every interview, and then, I watch different ones on purpose. You don't just go with one source. But the same man, matter of fact, I saw him at different ages. Like you can see, this is him at this age, maybe a little bit 10 years later. And it's like the same, proud dad energy. And he did sound like, hey, man, I'm the old simple guy who just had to do these odd jobs. I would have never thought he was going to become everything he became. He had that sound. Like, this is amazing to me to this day that my son became all of what he became. But I never felt or heard anything that sounded like they were estranged and they don't talk to each other. They ever fell out to the point where they don't talk. And that's how it was in the movie. There was a scene where first he says his manager, his white London manager, asked him, well, can we call your dad? Or say, don't call that man. I don't want you to call. No, don't call that man. Even that scene bothered me. I was like, huh? And so then, within a few scenes later that did not make any sense as to how we got there, it's the girlfriend, and he's on the phone with his dad in his apartment with her walking around too, and he's like, Dad. And he's like, huh? And all you can hear the voice. They got some fake voice of some man. I said, oh my gosh. Now you done pulled him into it, disrespected him. You got somebody supposed to be his voice. And it's like, he's like, yeah? Who this? Who this calling me? I was like, God damn. And it's like, this your son, Jimmy. You wouldn't know your damn son's voice. I don't give a shit where I call from in the world. My dad gonna know what the hell I am. Where he hear me, he know who it is. I was so annoyed with that damn scene, y'all. I was so annoyed with that damn scene in that movie. And so then, and he finally, what you mean this Jimmy? This can't be no Jimmy. I said, oh, Lord, they're really trying to make him like some just fell off a damn bumpkin truck idiot. Like, I was like, what is this, man? So he explained that he was in London and he had blown up and he's about to do it bigger and better. And then he says, I want you to meet somebody. And he's like, what? Who? What? And the whole time he's acting like he can't hear, yet he's still answering questions. And he puts the girlfriend on. And the girlfriend is like, hi, I'm so-and-so. And he's like, oh, okay, who this? And she's like telling who she is, but then he's annoyed because he's like, well, how you know Jimmy? And he's trying to explain that, that she's the girlfriend and that he's doing all these big things, making a record. He's like, Jimmy ain't made no record. And then he says something about, if you did that, I know you just done stole something. I said, what the? Who wrote this? Right? And so the line was like, oh, man. And so, yeah, the line was like, no, that's what it was. Before he got off the phone with his dad, he cussed him out. Well, not really cussed him out, but just, was really barking at the character. I got to say the character because none of these people are the real people. And Dre manifesting the character is like frustrated, looking like, oh, Dad. But he's trying to keep a smile on his face, like no matter what he says, he's happy and he wants him to be happy for him. And I'm like, it's the same man you said in another scene. You don't want to say nothing to this man, but then you call him out of the blue. And then they had this, like I said, this line where he says, like, if you got anything, stole it from somebody else. I was like, what are you trying to make Jimi Hendrix into in this movie? He ain't no damn gangster. He ain't no thief. He ain't no freaking two-bit criminal. Of anything he would have done that could be the worst of his life was what killed him. And that was drugs. Yes, he got into psychedelic drugs, and they show that in the movie, and that was his downfall, ultimately. But other than that, I'm not feeling the bullshit, people. It was really, really bad. Bad. And it can't be reversed. That's what's sad about it. It's like they're gonna be people who are gonna watch that are not gonna do the research I did immediately. Like, cut this shit on pause or maybe off, because I almost didn't finish watching it. I literally the last few minutes of the movie after that abuse scene, because it was 2 abuse scenes, but the worst one was the second one. I was like, man, what the hell's going on? I had to look it up. Like, did this ever happen? And that's when I found all these articles talking from quotes of the woman who would have been the one getting beat. Said, that man never beat me. She was like, he was the most gentle spirit ever. That was not us. She said the reason they even broke up was the drugs. That wasn't her scene. She didn't like that side of it all. She was a cigarette addict. She drank, but that was her. That was the limit of her drug addictions. She wasn't into the psychedelic shit. And that's what killed Jimmy. So that made sense even. You know, like, so I'm not about to not believe her and believe some whack ass fabricated scenes in a movie that are definitely exaggerated even in the way they come off in the movie. I said, oh my gosh, man. So this is dangerous, y'all. You gotta, like, this is another reason. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be done. This is another reason why I like going live. Because I go live so often that when I get to a point where I won't be doing this, and that day will come where I ain't gonna be able to do this almost every day. And I may not even be able to do it once a week. I may not even once a month, you know. But I will always make content one way or another as long as I can. But when you get to your later years and you finally make that transition, man, I'll be damned if I want anybody gonna be able to not have enough evidence to say that ain't him, but this is. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna need some proof. It's one of the greatest things about social media in that regard is it's a diary of who you were and who you are. So that people can't misconstrue what you were about. Because here I am, as me, telling you who the hell I am and what I'm about. You can't go, well, no, and if they want to play with it, and we know that they'll do it with AI and stuff, it's like everybody who saw this in real time will be like, nope, because I was there that day when he went live, and what he really said was, and no, he would never do that, but I tell you what he would do. He'd damn sure do this. Yeah, you do that. Yeah, that's Joseph. Like, you need that, for real. You need people going back up the truth, man, because there's an agenda in general. It ain't got no race, creed, color, none of that. It's got some politics, and it's definitely got some financial agendas, but it ain't got shit to do with the truth. Enough is enough, y'all. Kill the lies. Kill the lies. Praise the truth. Know the difference in the two. Peace.